Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, top 1 financial advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. I told y'all that this was a possibility and that Elon Musk tends to hype things up just to pull the rug under investors. This is at least the 5th time that I can think of off the top of my head. So as you saw in the headline and as you saw there, Elon Musk is not buying Twitter, at least as of today. He and his legal team have put out a letter saying, look, we're not doing this because y'all not giving us enough information on the platform. So I've got plenty of thoughts that I just need to get out and just let y'all know why this community is valuable. Because we've been talking about this for a while, from the minute that this was brought up to updates throughout this entire point. But this is why I think that subscribing is valuable, because if you have been subscribed at least since before April, y'all know how I felt about it, and we've been right every step of the way. So here's the thing. You always want to learn how to separate hype from reality. And it is getting harder and harder with the internet, I think. And it's harder and harder when someone is very wealthy and has a personality. And I think people have been tricked into it. He's got 100 million people on Twitter, and half of those may be bots. I don't know. But bring up Elon Musk on any social media platform, people are going to feel a certain way. And he's got a lot of fans that just follow him off a cliff. That's just what it is. Okay. And we've done I'm just again doing this from memory. Remember Bitcoin? Which Bitcoin still exists, but obviously he said that they were going to buy, that Tesla had bought some Bitcoin. You're going to be able to take Bitcoin as payment to buy Tesla. A few weeks later, he came back and said, no, environmental concerns, we're not going to do it. Bitcoin tanks. Okay. And this is something that everyone who has followed crypto, even to I would say from 1 to 10, to follow crypto at like a 5, you knew that there were environmental concerns should Bitcoin continue to grow the way that it was. That's obvious. That is blatantly obvious. How is it that I know that and he does not? And you head a company, at that point in time, $1 trillion company, and you don't know that there were problems with environmental concerns with Bitcoin. Yet you did it, yet you tweeted it, yet you pumped up Bitcoin, and then turned in reverse course and Bitcoin fell and continued to fall after that. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is Dogecoin. The exact same scenario. Dogecoin, though, is different than Bitcoin and Tesla and others, where Dogecoin was built as a joke. It is a worthless cryptocurrency. It is literally a worthless cryptocurrency that people wanted to make fun of to prove that people would buy anything based on hype. And it worked. And it got so big that Elon Musk hyped it up and went on SNL, Saturday Night Live, for those who may not know, and basically tanked it and said, hey, yeah, it was a hustle. Those were his words. And it ain't been back since. Okay, that's the second time. Then the third time, and this has happened numerous times, he's played around and manipulated the market for Tesla. This is the same guy who got on a podcast in 2018 and said that I think he wanted the stock to be 420 or something crazy. The share price dropped 9% to be exact back in 2009. After that interview in 2018, he also tweeted, "Should I sell X amount of my shares?" and then sold it. And guess what? The stock fell. He said, he tweeted at one point that I think the share price is too high, and it fell. He's even been fined by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, for things like this. You cannot, as a CEO, you run the company, right? Me and other investors are trusting you to keep Tesla on track and to have it to grow and act in our best interest as investors. That's what investors, as a CEO, that's what your job is to give shareholders value, to give us money, and to make sure that our investment is growing. You do not do that by tweeting things to force the stock down. That ain't helping nobody. For the most part, that's not helping anybody. So when you lay out all the receipts, you can see a clear pattern of him hyping up certain things. Many of them are worthless, just to come back and reverse course. I've been saying for a while, you can check the tape, that Twitter is one of, I'm not going to call it one of the worst social media apps out there, even though I could argue that because Twitter can get real dark. But from a business perspective, that Twitter did not make any sense. It ain't Facebook. It ain't even TikTok. It's not, and it never has been, and it never will be, perhaps. right? Since 2013, there's only one, maybe even 2 points where it got above its IPO price. It was trash. And I told you, as someone who uses Twitter a lot, uses Twitter for their job, I would not pay for something like Twitter. Yet and still, the only value proposition, this is what told me he didn't have a plan, the only value proposition for Twitter was free speech. What business plan is that? What business plan is that? That doesn't make any sense. And again, been calling it out from day one, have been talking about it since the time that this stuff has started popping up, but also been very consistent in not just my criticisms of Elon and my criticisms of Mark Zuckerberg and my criticism of any CEO that is of note, that acts in a strange behavior. Like, I'm the one who said that Zuckerberg should step down based on all the privacy regulations and stuff. So it's not just me bashing Elon. Elon just happens to be the one that's in the news every damn day. That's not my fault. That's his, right? I don't talk about Tim Cook. He's CEO of Apple, because he's not out here doing stuff like that. And I think that is the issue here. That's a problem here, where for some reason, because maybe he's the wealthiest person in the world as of now, but Jeff Bezos never got this level of attention every day. The thing is, he is... I can't say he's not a great leader, because he's built what seems to be a great company, at least as of today. But you have to pay attention, right? Pay attention as an investor. You have to be able to pay attention to hype and be able to separate what is reality and what is just hype, and understand what the true value is of whatever the asset is at the bottom of this. And I can see how you could view Tesla as valuable. That makes sense. I don't see how you could ever see Twitter or Dogecoin as valuable. Those two things did not make sense. And this is how people get burned. And it's not just an Elon only thing. There are a bunch of cryptocurrencies and stocks that get hyped up all the time, penny stocks included, that end up not being a thing for obvious reasons. At least those who subscribe and those who can read and do read, a lot of this stuff is blatantly obvious. Right, you can look at AMC and GameStop. GameStop just fired their, I think it was a CFO yesterday, and I said that it's really the next blockbuster. Based on how the business is constructed, GameStop, unless they do something outright innovative or just completely transform, that it is going to be the next blockbuster. Similar to Radio Shack. Radio Shack failed, and now Radio Shack is some weird crypto exchange. Yeah, y'all should... Don't check out Radio Shack's Twitter, but you should check out Radio Shack's Twitter. It is not safe for work. I'm gonna throw that out there. If you check out Radio Shack's Twitter, let me know in the comments. It's funny, but it is weird. But that's the route that GameStop is going down, in that we know that people are not physically buying video games and definitely aren't trading them in, because they're downloading them now. And until GameStop realizes that, they are going down the same blockbuster path. But like, look at the thought process that I'm giving you. It is taking the hype out of it, taking the nice fancy name out of it, taking all that stuff out of it. What is the core of this thing? Right? What is the business? What does it do? And how is it supposed to make money? And how is it supposed to continue to do so? What is the environment that this is supposed to be for this to succeed? Twitter never had that. So it never made sense. And I've said that I don't want my CEO of any of the companies I own out here loud and brash about everything except for what you need to be doing. The video I posted on YouTube just a few days ago, and same thing for Instagram, was criticizing him for doing all of these erratic moves. I didn't have any earlier prior knowledge to this. Otherwise, I would have told y'all then. But this is not gonna cut it. This is not gonna cut it. And I am tired of seeing. One, I'm tired of the hype. I'm just an anti-hype person. But I am tired of seeing brand new investors who don't know any better follow this man off a cliff. And I think that is dangerous, because when you get burned from an investment and you don't have access to quality information, then you give up on investing. And when you give up on investing, you end up broke in some cases. But you say, oh, well, the whole thing's a scam and none of this works because you got burned that one time and then you never come back. And that's a problem, because then you end up at 55, 60, and you have nothing to pull from because you got burned one time. When channels like this exist, and I'm like the only person out there, but resources and channels out there exist to show you the right way and to show you how to make a better decision for yourself. Like I told y'all, when people were asking, like, should I buy Twitter or not? I said, I don't, that's not something I would do. right? It just does not make sense because of how bad it had been compared to Facebook and TikTok and other platforms that are decent compared to what they were doing. So look, it doesn't bring me any joy per se, because I really don't have a dog in the fight. But I want y'all to be safe. I want you to have the ability to make sound investing decisions. You are not going to be perfect in every decision you make. You are going to make mistakes. I have made mistakes. I am not perfect in every investing decision that I have ever made. I will continue to make mistakes, and hopefully they continue to be very small and very few and far between. But the message here is to make sure you have a process to decipher information, and you have a process to double check your information to be right more often than wrong, and never just blindly follow somebody off any cliff or any theory or whatever. Don't blindly follow me either, right? My job is to give you the tools to say, oh, he thinks that this stock is good. I can go and verify that. I can go and double check and make my own investment decision by going to 1, 2, 3, and 4 websites and go from there. Okay, that is my goal and my hope for y'all, and that's why when we talk about in the members only community, I show you like, here's where I got my research, here's where I got my information. You can take that and compare with what you got and make your own investing decision. Because I don't want people blindly following me, right? I don't blindly follow myself, right? I get my information, I compare it with as many sources as possible, and I think that is an under discussed skill when it comes to investing. Because the last thing I want you to do, especially with Elon Musk or anybody else, is take a long walk off a short cliff.